A truck driver starts off on a long journey and travels the first two-thirds of the journey at speed v. But then the truck driver realizes that he's not going to get to his destination traveling at speed v. So he decides to double his speed, and he does the remaining one-third of the journey at twice the speed. Now the question is, what is his average speed for the entire journey? So how do we solve this problem? We solve this problem in exactly the same way. We prepare a table. So let's prepare that table here. So the table, as you should know by now, has speed, distance, and time for the two legs of the journey. So the speed is actually not given, it's just a variable. The speed for the first leg of the journey is v, and for the second leg it's 2v. The distance, first part is 2/3, the distance is not provided either. First part is 2/3 and the last part is 1/3. So if you remember from ratio and proportion, we can say that the first part of the distance is 2d and the latter part of the distance is d. So that will break the journey into 2/3 and 1/3. And the time is something that we have to determine. So how did we determine time in our previous lessons? We derive time by dividing the distance traveled by the velocity. Same thing for the last 1/3. We derive time by taking the distance traveled and dividing it by the velocity. So, as we did earlier, the total distance is 2d plus d. That's 3d. And the total time, 2d over v plus d over 2v. So I'm going to factor out the d over v, and within parentheses we have 2 plus half, which is 5 over 2. So this quantity comes to 5d over 2v. And therefore, the average speed for the entire journey equals total distance, which is 3d, divided by total time, which is 5d over 2v. And that happens to be equal to 6 over 5v. The d's cancel out. So what does this tell you? 6 over 5v, which you can think of as 1.2v. So this basically implies that instead of having to double his speed and take a lot of risk after having gone 2/3 of the journey, if the truck driver had planned it well and had driven at 20% more than his initial speed throughout the journey, he would have gotten to his destination in exactly the same amount of time. And this is an important point because that's what the average speed represents. Even if you have made a journey at different speeds in different segments, the average speed actually represents that constant speed at which you could have pulled off that entire journey in the same amount of time. That brings us to the end of our series of lessons on average speed. If you have any questions, do drop a comment.